The day has finally arrived. It has been long in coming, much anticipated, because today it is the Millionaire Waltz. And, well, I guess for about as long as I've been married to Vlad, he has been wishing for me to listen to this waltz, and he has just been keeping it tucked away for the moment to come. Today is the moment, and he's sitting behind the camera, and he is thrilled. Well, of course, many of you, after you listen to some of the recent ones I've done by Queen, you also said, you really have to hear the Millionaire Waltz. I will die if you don't do the Millionaire Waltz in this series. Guaranteed, it's part of this series. It's probably one of the big reasons, I'm guessing, that Vlad has planned this entire series, because he's been desperate for me to hear it for so long. Anyway, today is the Millionaire Waltz, and I have to say that based on Vlad's excitement, your urging, I am a bit excited myself, even though I don't know what's coming yet. Although Millionaire Waltz, it does really sound like the Queen extravagance, even in the title. And so I have a guess that it's going to be something that I really have a lot of fun with. Well, of course, don't forget you can always check out my Ko-fi and Patreon pages if you want to contribute to my journey in more ways, if you want to have early access to material that will eventually go on YouTube, as well as exclusive access to recordings and material that will never appear on YouTube for various and sundry reasons. So, the Millionaire Waltz was written by Mercury about John Reid, who was Queen and Elton John's manager at the time. So it seems that Queen is in the habit of writing music about significant personalities in their career. Remember Death on Two Legs, right? Well, now we have the Millionaire Waltz. This doesn't sound so dark, even in the title. A waltz gives me this idea of prosperity and even aristocracy. It's elegance. It's all the old world, upper class traditions and entertainment and abundance. That is, John Reid was, according to Brian May, an ebullient character who helped manage the band through a tough time. Was this tough time after they dumped the fellow who was Death on Two Legs? Brian May in Q magazine, March 2008, said, "This was our greatest musical excess." Okay, I'm not far off. "It teems with Baroque life and makes Bohemian Rhapsody look easy. Great piece of Freddie." Okay, so it must be Freddie's fingerprints all over it. "Like Bohemian Rhapsody, it is a multi-key and multi-meter song and features abrupt arrangement changes and May doing multi-tracked guitar choirs. So not just the Freddie choirs, but now we have Brian May choirs on the guitar. Partway through this 3/4 waltz, you know what 3/4 means? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is interrupted by a short 12/8 hard rock segment. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It is a noteworthy example of John Deacon's lead bass playing. Seems like everybody is shining here, which can be heard quite prominently early in the song, when only Deacon and Mercury are playing bass guitar and piano vocals, respectively. Freddie Mercury said in an interview on Capital Radio, "Actually, I'd like to say that Brian May did do a very good job on the actual guitars. He's really taken his guitar orchestration to its limits. I don't know how he's ever going to outdo that one, actually." He's using the word actually a lot. "And John Deacon played very good bass on that. I think it's good, and we're patting ourselves on the back again. I really think it's worked out well, especially from the orchestration point of view." So, yes, I've used this term orchestration as I've listened to some of their music, and here is, out of Freddie's own mouth, the same term, which we use a lot in classical circles, orchestration. It's the balance in the organization of the instruments. Not just about the notes. The notes are already written. The parts are already done. It's how do we lay out the instruments across all these notes and parts. Because he's really used his guitar in a different sort of way. I know he's done a lot of orchestrations before. Interesting. Well, I guess it's time for me to give this a listen.
Charge of the love brigade, there's spring in the air once again. Bring to the sound of the song parade, there is music and love everywhere. Give a little love to me, I want it. Take a little love from me, I want to share it with you. All our days holding hands together. Do you remember my love? How we danced and played in the rain. We lay wish that we could stay there forever and ever. Now I am sad you are so far away. I sit counting the hours day by day. Come back to me. How I long for your love. Come back to me. Be happy like we used to be.
This is really great. I'm just going to keep on listening. I won't say anything else until the end.
Take me with you and love me forever, my fine friend. Forever, charge of the love brigade, there is spring in the air once a year. To bring to the sound of the sun
really great. What should I say first? I'm not sure. I have half a dozen different things running through my mind. Of course it's theatrical. Of course it is, because this is Queen and this is Freddie. Well, it's interesting. If I were just reading the lyrics themselves, without the music, they run and they flow and they ripple along, and they have this abundant romantic element to them. Kind of reminds me of another poem that I know titled Love's Philosophy. It's by Percy Bysshe Shelley. It's the same abundant, overabundant feeling of, springtime is overflowing that I get when I hear these lyrics. Well, the music itself makes it a little more theatrical than just reading the lyrics on their own. If you took the lyrics alone, you could say, oh, this is such a fabulous romantic poem, and it's has this very what I'm trying to say is the music makes it spicier, livelier. If you think of old Victorian era artwork, poetry, the music is making sure that we don't take it in that way. And that's nice because it keeps it from feeling too stuffy and too stale. At the same time, there's a bit of humor to it, and it all just comes piling in here together abundantly, and it's great. Well, I want to go back. There's so much to pay attention to in here. That guitar solo, that first guitar solo. I'm sure I'm not dreaming when I say I recognize it as from a classical piece of music. I know I've heard that in some classical piece, but I cannot bring to mind exactly which one. I might have to do a bit of research on that and see if I'm dreaming or not. First thing I noticed. It starts out with a rather wooden waltz style, meaning the rhythm is absolutely straight. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And he was careful not to use any pedal at all in here. None. So it has a very dry quality to it. Bump, beep, beep, bump, beep, beep, bump, beep, beep. Unlike what we call the Viennese waltz style. If you listen to the Vienna Philharmonic or any of the classic European Philharmonic orchestras playing, let's say, the Blue Danube Waltz or any of Strauss's waltzes, which are in what we call the Viennese style. Well, let me go to the piano and show you the difference here. So, here's what Freddie is doing. I think it's an F chord. It's dry, I'm not using any pedal, and it's just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. With the waltz style piano accompaniment, which tends to be a bass or an octave bass, here, here, anywhere down here, any of these bass notes in the octave in the left hand. Or it could be a single note also down in the bass. And then up a bit higher, we have the next two beats. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What that does is the notes themselves end up setting us up with this heavy 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, there's something we call the hierarchy of beats. Basically, to explain it in simple terms, you can think of it as being each beat has its own strength, its own importance, its own weight, its own measurement of heaviness, so to speak. We can have a very big, fat, heavy 1. We can have a lighter 2, 3. Every single beat in a bar or in a pattern of beats has its own weight to it. And so the way they alternate tends to be like, think of bouncing a ball. If you throw a ball down heavily, strongly, it rebounds more lightly. It drops again less strongly and rebounds again even more weakly. That would be 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the 1 and the 3 are the heavier. The 1 is the strongest. 1, 2. That's in ranking. We'll rank this as the strongest. This as, we've got to skip over the next one. So this would be the third in weakness. Strongest, medium, a little bit stronger, and weakest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so that's 4. But you get the idea of how this beat, rebound, and cause and effect happens. Well, it happens in a waltz too. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or let's go back to the F like Freddie has. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But 2 and 3 are not entirely equal. And here's what I noticed about the opening. That is, he is not using the incredibly exaggerated, stylized, we could even say opulent Viennese waltz pattern, which exaggerates this pattern. The 1 is so strong, it throws us up to 2 a bit quicker. 1, 2, 3, and then 3 just kind of hovers, and then 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, you go listen to some Strauss, the Blue Danube Waltz, or something like that, and you will hear the orchestra not going 1, 2, 3, but 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So, back to Freddie's music. So let's play it again and listen to it. A nice little pull back there. And this is where he lets us know right away that this is going to be rather dramatic. Because we've had a very straight opening. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What is this? We have no idea. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And suddenly it's livelier and we immediately get the sense that this is going to take us all over the place. And it does. And then this guitar playing which comes in. Really, it's great. And let's see, I guess this is Brian May, is it not? No, this is the bass guitar. This is John Deacon. I'm learning my way around this band. So, notice what the piano is doing. It's now moving from the F chord to C. And in the process, it creates this little figure. Bum, 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 bum. I'll show it on the harp here. So we've got on the first beat, of course, we have our F. On the next beat, and on the third beat. So it's no longer bum, 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 bum. Now it's bum, 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 bum. And I'm leaving out the inner notes, okay? But that's the outline. Now listen to the guitar, because when the guitar comes in, bum, 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 he kind of exploits that little bum, 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 dee dum, ba dee 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 dum, And suddenly, even though we don't have the Viennese style of waltz, and I want to make it clear, I'm not being critical, I'm just saying that I'm noticing, because there are different waltz styles. Even though we don't have that Viennese styling, then what John Deacon is doing with the guitar here is adding some extra weight on beat 1, da-dum, and he's helping beat 3 kind of tumble back down to 1, just like the Viennese waltz, remember? Dee-dum, ba-dee-dum. It kind of tumbles and falls towards 1. Dee-dum, dee-dee-dee-dee-dum, dee-dee-dee. Listen to the guitar here. It's really well done. And then, of course, we start to hear Freddie stepping on the pedal for those wonderful bass notes. Well, let's look through and mark a couple of these things, because I want to make sure you can see what I'm talking about too. So this is when John Deacon enters, and he enters on this F here. And then these are the notes that ba-da-da-dum take us back to the same F. Da-dum, da-da-da-dee-dum, da-da-da-dee-dum. And then he does something different. Here, when we hear him dee-dee-dee-dum, he is carrying us up and suspending us in midair, so to speak. Dee-dee-dee-dum, dee-dee-dee-dum, because he is not playing on beat 1. He's letting beat 1 go by, and we swing. It's as if we're in a swing, and we're swinging up to the peak. And he just leaves us hovering there until the next one. Dee-dee-dee-dum. And then Freddie comes in with his nice little bum, 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 which also gives us this feeling of lift and elevation. Remember, a waltz is a dance that has this very light, and there's a specific swing and lift to it. You don't dance a waltz with heavy boots on. We'll just leave it at that. Suddenly, it stops again. Dum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Just as we were getting into this flow and thinking, oh, we can start dancing now. Hold on. No, I'm just giving you the feeling of a waltz. This is rather like what Bach used to do. Johann Sebastian Bach, when he handled dance styles with his music. Well, probably you've heard some of the cello suites. You can look up the piano guy's cello prelude from one of his cello suites and see it kind of dressed up in a modern style a bit. But you recognize it most probably because it's very famous, and even if you don't love classical music, you've heard it somewhere, I'm sure. Well, the idea of what Bach did in those suites, and in a lot of his music, he would take popular dance styles. They didn't have a waltz back then, so he couldn't take the waltz, but other dance styles. And he would use them as launching points for music, but he didn't necessarily intend for them to be danced to. I think it would be rather difficult to dance to this Millionaire waltz, because we have this waltz style, and he carries us into it, and just about the time we feel we have the rhythm, he puts on the brakes or he switches gears, and unless you're a professional dancer and you've choreographed the whole thing in advance, you can't just get out on the dance floor and have fun with it. So it's an example of a musician, a composer, a band, taking a well-known dance style and using it as a launching point, as a means of expression, as a way of giving a particular vibe, a particular quality. Think elegance, opulence, entertainment, comfort, ease, all of those things that we associate with the waltz, and good fun. And applying it, but not necessarily in a way that is utilitarian, meaning it's not just a piece that is meant to be background while we're dancing. Pretty cool.
Bring out the charge of the love brigade. There is spring in the air once again. Bring to the sound of the song parade. There is music and love everywhere.
And this is the classic Freddie voice, Freddie singing style, where he milks every note, especially the beginning ones, which is very appropriate for a waltz. Remember, the first beat is the one that we lean into. Bring out the charge of the love brigade. There is spring in the air once again. He's not using the piano to lean into it. He's using his voice to lean into it. And that adds this next layer of flair to the piece. So the opening was great, but now suddenly it's even better when his voice enters.
Bring out the charge of the love brigade. There is spring in the air once again. Bring to the sound of the song parade. There is music and love.
I like the bass in there dancing around.
Give a little love to me. I want it. Take a little love.
Another thing I like, and my score, it does not show the vocal parts, so I can't circle the vocal parts, but we can mark the piano where we hear this bom dee 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 bom dee 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 dee, right? And notice how that doesn't only show up in the piano, it shows up in the voice too. Listen.
Bring to the sound of the song parade. There is music and love everywhere. Give a little love to.
Give a little love, give a little love. Bom dee 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 dee. Give a little love. It's the same rhythmic effect. So we have bring out the charge of the love brigade, and then give a little love, just as if he's tapping yada da 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 on the piano. And so we have the piano on one hand, and I can't leave out the guitar because the guitar is doing wonderful things underneath, right? But in this moment, we have the piano using a sort of repetitive yada da 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 rapid fire, and he sets up certain parts of the lyrics also so that he can sing in that same sort of yada da da da. Makes a nice call and response in effect.
There is music and love everywhere. Give a little love to me. I want it. Take a little love from me. I want to share it with you.
And I love what the guitar does here. It has this ascending line, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 bum, and it lands on this C way up here and holds it out. But it's not that that's so great about it. It's the fact that it's echoing, responding to what Freddie did earlier. Let's listen again to this section.
Parade, there is music and love everywhere. Give a little love to me. I want it. Take a little love from me. I want to share it with you.
And so when Freddie sang bum, then eventually along comes Brian May with his guitar choir, and he sings da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da da dum, da 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 dum, and finishes it for us. it's a bit separated and all of this other music is happening around and between and through it. But that's a nice connection between both of those sustained notes. Okay, moving on.
Feel like a millionaire. Once we were mad, we were happy, we spent all our day.
And again here, I feel like this melody. Dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum. I feel like it comes from something classical. I feel like I've heard it somewhere. Da-da-dum, ba-da. Something is incredibly familiar about it. Well, of course, there is uncountable melodies in the classical repertoire, and a lot of these figures are repeated in various formats. So maybe it's not actually a classical melody, but it's in the classical style, and he sings it in this very romantic attitude. You know, one of the things that I find entertaining, amusing, and nice about this piece, the paragraphs I read at the beginning said this was about their manager. Okay, a business relationship. Somebody who helped them get through some difficult business times, and it seems they had a good relationship with him. But they've turned that little bit of inspiration into a really, really expressive waltz about love and wanting to be together. And I mean, once we were mad, we were happy. We spent all our days holding hands together. Do you remember, my love, how we danced and played? In the rain we laid. We could stay there forever and ever. Now I am sad you are so far away. I mean, this is far more than just a song about a business relationship. They took it far beyond the inspiration for the song. But this is so sweet here.
Once we were mad, we were happy, we spent all our days.
Notice how the piano style is different.
Together, do you remember, my love? How we danced and played in the rain. We lay.
The piano is more legato here. Dum bum 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 bum. And then just as we think that we are settling into this really sweet and gentle lullaby ballad style love song, suddenly it changes again. Oh, we danced and played and then the bass. Such constant shifting. I feel like I'm looking through a kaleidoscope, and this music behaves like some kaleidoscopic view.
Holding hands together. Do you remember, my love?
I like the way that the bass here, bum 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 bum, is working in unison with the Freddy chorus, as I'm going to call it. Do you remember?
Do you remember, my love? How we danced and played in the rain. We lay. Wish that we could stay there forever and ever.
And again, we're back to this incredibly romantic ending. Forever and ever. And the piano carries us on forever. And the song could end right there and we'd think it was fabulous. But no, we have to go on.
Forever and
changes and we're so sad.
Come back to me.
The guitar here.
For your love, come back to me. Be happy like we used to.
You know, it seems that everybody was all impressed about the guitar chorus. But I love this solo guitar line, which is like another voice equal to Freddie. And they are singing back and forth and together, and it's as if they know each other's mind and they think on the same wavelength and they sing in the same manner. I love it. Listen to the guitar in here, it's so great.
Yes, day by day, come back to me. How I long for your love. Come back to me. Be happy like we used to.
And then it changes tone quality a bit and becomes more plucked string.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
You might laugh, but another thing I'm reminded of as I'm listening to this music is actually the movie The Sound of Music. Because it has that same sort of overdone musical style, which is so fabulous at the same time. And it tells a story which is really quite cookie cutter, you know? Okay? The story is nothing outstanding, but it's told in a way that is so charming and inspiring and exciting, and everything from, well, the children riding their bikes in formation as they learn how to sing do, re, mi with all the different harmonies in and out, and then every moment of it, there's the theater moment, the puppets and everything, which is so great, and the pillow fight, of course. It has this same sort of innocent extravagance. Or we could say extravagant innocence. And this piece of music sounds just as classic as that movie is. This is the 12/8, or in my score it's marked 4/4, but regardless, it's the time signature change. We have, in my score it's marked 4/4. 12/8, same thing. It is 4 beats to a bar, just they're divided differently. So regardless, 4/4, 12/8 doesn't matter. This is a big difference from the waltz 3/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, da, 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 da. You need somebody to combine the two? I guess call Queen. Now it's the drums. How on earth did they come from one to the other? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You know, just a few days back, I listened to the Pixies for the first time, and I remember reading that they were notable for their use of extreme tempi and dynamics and contrasting sections, and if I remember, they were considered kind of early or influential to bring that style into rock music. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, Freddie was way ahead of the Pixies, and still is, I think. This one. It sounds so incredibly familiar. I feel like I know this in a classical context. I don't know where from. I can't place it. Maybe it's a really famous melody that I ought to be able to pull out of my head instantly. Like, once upon a time I was supposed to be able to pull out and know who Freddie was instantly, right? I know who Freddie is now, but now I cannot place this melody. Is it really truly a classical melody? I'm going to have to go look that up and find out. And maybe I'll let you know in the description eventually. I'll type a little note there if I find something out about it. I love it though. And these scales. They are so great to add in there. We have da 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 da. By the way, there is more of a Viennese style. Da 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 dee 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 da da ba da. That little triangle, probably. And suddenly another change.
Take me with you, love.
Take me with you. Take me with you. The quicksilver changes in this. One to the other to the other. I guess that's what strikes me most about this one, is that they manage, because it's not just Freddie in here, although I understand Freddie wrote the song. But
remember, his nickname was Mercury.
Yeah, there we go. Perfectly fits. So Freddie wrote the song, but it would not have come out this brilliantly if it were not for the rest of the band. All the way through, we have this fabulous bass and the drums, which have not featured heavily in this song, but at the same time, they're there, perfect in the moment. Crash, crash. Or in the hard rock section, of course, they were great. The bass guitar, John Deacon. All of this is coming together to create this perfectly balanced, perfectly paced piece of music that has an incredible number of transitions to get through. And one of the most challenging things as a musician, as a performer, are always the transition points. Once you're in the groove and you're playing along, you can carry on and you can do great. It's no problem. But if you have a piece of music that has to make sudden shifts and changes, you have to be prepared ahead of time. You have to be prepared, and you have to get yourself in the mood, in the style coming up on time, so that you're not lagging behind. Because you can't come in and say, "My fine friend, take me with..." Oh, I was supposed to say, "My fine..." You have to be there in the moment. But you also have to not lose what came before. And you have to neither rush nor delay that transition moment. It's really a challenge. I'm speaking as a performer here. And I know the challenges that come with music that has to have all these dramatic changes and quick, we could call it footwork. And they do it perfectly. I love it.
Take me with you and love me forever, my fine friend.
I noticed this the first time around. That little note, beep, ba-da-da, it almost sounded at first like, wait, was he supposed to play that note? But it was just a little bit of anticipation before we fall into da-da-da-bum.
My fine friend,
We hear just the piano.
take me with you and love me forever, my fine friend.
And one of the things that makes it so great is we're anticipating something else. Listen, my fine friend. The breath is a big part of it. Take me with you and love me forever. Now listen. My fine friend. What are we expecting? Freddie's voice. But what do we hear instead? Beep.
My fine friend.
Beep.
Forever.
And then he comes in forever.
Charge of the love brigade. There is spring in the air once again. Bring to the sound of the sun rain.
And this is where even the music makes me remember Shelley's poem. If I can remember it. The fountains mingle. It's not the mountains. The fountains mingle with the river, and the river with the sea, or something like that. Maybe I should have Vlad put a link to the poem below in the description, because I can't quote it all. And I think in this context, if you read it, you will enjoy the abundant spirit of it.
There's spring in the air once again.
Spring in the air.
Bring to the sound of the sun rain. There's music and love everywhere. Give a little love to me. Take a little love from
And here it
me.
gets
I wanna share it with you.
Just as we are falling into this, bring out, suddenly it's give a little love, a little bit sassy, da 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 da, bum bum bum. And he keeps it from being too aristocratic. I guess that's what I want to say, is it is stylized, flamboyant, dramatic, theatrical. If you want to use the word kitsch, you can use that word. If you want to call it Broadway music, you can use that. You can say that as well. But in the end, it's incredibly exciting and full of life, with a sort of elegance to it that just at the moment it might become too aristocratic. He cuts it off and says, but we're ordinary guys here. This is for ordinary people. And it keeps it incredibly down to earth and relatable, even within all this theatrical stylization.
I wanna take a little love from me. I wanna share it with you. Come back to me, make me feel.
Great drums there. And the piano line bit. And the bass. Oh, I love that. Bum, bum, bum. Way down here, wherever it is. It's a C.
Come back to me,
And we're going lower.
make me feel
And then a trill way up at
like
the top.
a
You
millionaire.
make me feel like a millionaire. And maybe I feel like a millionaire, but I'm not unapproachable like a millionaire. That's what he's saying. What a fabulous song. Loads of fun. I have to say, I was not disappointed, in spite of the fact that you all had me worked up and excited, and Vlad, of course, has been anticipating this moment and kind of getting me excited for this moment for months, even a couple of years by now. Isn't it interesting the way this piece of music, this song, is entitled The Millionaire Waltz? But we don't meet why it's the Millionaire Waltz until we get to the very, very end. When he says, you make me feel like a millionaire. That's why it's the Millionaire Waltz. It's not about some rich person, this, that, the other. It's about you make me feel like a millionaire. Your love. I feel so wealthy, so rich. And that is why it is styled in such an overflowingly abundant, springing out of the ground manner. And there are no holds barred. In other words, to borrow from the organ world, he's pulled out all the stops to try to express this feeling of knowing and experiencing this wonderful love. It makes me feel like a millionaire. And that is the Millionaire's Waltz. Well, what a lot of fun. I enjoyed it immensely. I will be enjoying this many, many times in the future. It's one that will go on my playlist, as I'm sure you can guess. And, well, there we have it. What's going to come next? I have no idea. But of course it makes sense for me to not look for something, another one like this in style, but I would not be surprised at all to find something else like this in class. Because as much as I love this, I wouldn't say that it is greater, musically better than some of the others that I've really fallen in love with by Queen as well. You Take My Breath Away, or Lily of the Valley. Those also were so perfect. And I expect to find more like that, because it seems that they are as abundant as their music in coming up with more and more music. And what a great ending of the piece, too. I don't want to forget to mention that. Just the sudden crash, 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 and it's done. One of the things that I love about this piece is that it demonstrates their versatility, not just from song to song, but within a piece of music. As I was saying earlier, their ability to transition and catch the essence of the new mood, the new style, from the first note that it enters is really great. And I think this piece of music really emphasizes their skill and versatility as a band in that regard. This series is not at all disappointing. Same with the Beatles 150 series. Both of these projects I'm doing are just so rewarding every step of the way, and this song is leaving me eager to see what comes next. So I'll see you next time.